The time is exactly 0800 hours Eastern Standard Time, May 1st, 2026. While the world's cameras are fixed on the north portico of the White House for the arrival of King Charles III, a very different kind of history is being written 5 hours away in the suffocating silence of Montecito. The image of the star-crossed lovers who conquered Hollywood is gone. In its place is a tactical collapse that no amount of expensive PR can mask. As you watch this, the Duchess of Sussex is reportedly trapped within the walls of her 16-bedroom estate. Not by choice, but by a catastrophic failure of her own narrative. The lights in the left wing of the mansion, specifically in Meghan's signature beige-toned office, have not been turned off for 3 days. At exactly 2:15 a.m. this morning, a highly encrypted file arrived from her legal counsel. The message was cold, clinical, and final. The draft press release is rejected. The risk of global litigation is absolute. We cannot protect you from the Trevor files. Witnesses close to the estate describe a scene of total isolation. One former staffer, who walked away from the Sussex camp just 48 hours ago, recounted the moment the reality set in. They described Meghan staring at her reflection in a darkened window, whispering to an empty room. "How did the king make me invisible in my own country?" Before we dive into the classified details of this 2026 meltdown, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. We are tracking this story as it unfolds in real time, and you do not want to be the last to know when the final document drops. If you think the royal silence is louder than words, drop Team Truth in the comments below. The contrast today is a masterclass in power dynamics. King Charles is currently being welcomed in Washington, D.C., with the full military honors of a state visit, embodying the permanence and soft power of the British monarchy. Meanwhile, in California, the Duchess is facing the A-list exodus. For years, names like Oprah Winfrey and Serena Williams were the steel pillars of the Sussex fortress. But look at the data from early 2026. The social registry has been wiped clean. Insiders claim that Meghan's recent attempts to coordinate a counter-programming event to the King's visit were met with a series of red receipts and no replies. When she reportedly reached out to her old inner circle to secure a public statement of support, the response from a junior assistant to one Hollywood mogul was polite but lethal. "Our schedule is fully committed to the state visit engagements." One source close to the Montecito estate reported a private exchange that occurred on the afternoon of April 30th. Meghan allegedly demanded a conference call with her top 3 celebrity allies. After 40 minutes of waiting on a silent line, she turned to her remaining assistant and said, "They aren't coming back, are they?" The assistant had no answer. The silence from Hollywood is the most expensive sound the Duchess has ever heard. This is a tactical retreat that has turned into a total blockade. For the last 5 years, the narrative was that Meghan was the one doing the cutting off. She cut off her father, her former friends, and the royal family. But on this morning of May 1st, the script has flipped. The world has cut off the Duchess. The most terrifying part for the Montecito team is the Trevor factor. The man who knew her before the cameras were ever turned on is no longer a ghost. He is a looming deposition. Without the protection of an ironclad non-disclosure agreement, Trevor Engelson's alleged cooperation with high-level journalists has turned Meghan's office into a war room with no weapons left to fire. She is sitting in that beige room, surrounded by rejected drafts and trademark disputes, while the King of England dines with the President. The strategy was to become the Queen of America. But as of this morning, she is the prisoner of a 16-bedroom mansion with a phone that has stopped ringing. Is this the end of the Sussex brand, or just the beginning of a much darker chapter? The files we have obtained regarding the Toronto years suggest that what Trevor knows could dismantle the very foundation of her royal standing. Stay tuned. The next hour of this investigation will reveal the specific emails from 2013 that Meghan thought were deleted forever. Like this video if you want the truth exposed, and tell us in the comments. Do you think the King's visit to the US was the final nail in the Montecito coffin? The evidence is coming up next. To understand why the air inside the Montecito mansion has turned radioactive, you have to look at a single glaring legal oversight that Meghan Markle cannot erase. In the world of high-stakes reputation management, there is a mechanism known as the Non-Disclosure Agreement, or the NDA. It is the invisible fence that keeps secrets inside. Every assistant, every security guard, and every nanny who has ever stepped foot on the Sussex estate has been forced to sign one. But there is a massive, gaping hole in this perimeter, and his name is Trevor Engelson. This is the ghost loophole. It is a three-step sequence of legal negligence that has finally matured in May 2026. To see the magnitude of this threat, we have to look at the clinical reality of 2013, when Meghan and Trevor divorced. She was a cable television actress on a show with a modest following. Their separation was handled through a standard civil filing in Los Angeles. There was no royal oversight, no international security protocol, and most importantly, no lifelong silence clause. The mechanism worked like this. In Step 1, in 2013, they signed a standard settlement. It divided their assets and their pets, but it did not contemplate a future where one party would become the most scrutinized woman on the planet. Meghan reportedly believed that a simple divorce was enough to bury the Toronto years forever. She was wrong. By Step 2, in 2018, as she prepared to walk down the aisle of St. George's Chapel, a new layer of security was activated. The firm implemented ironclad NDAs for everyone currently in her orbit. But here is the legal wall. You cannot retroactively force an ex-husband to sign a gag order for a marriage that ended 5 years prior without his consent and a massive financial settlement. Trevor Engelson reportedly refused to take the bait. He did not want the money. He wanted his dignity. For years, he was the ghost in the machine, a man who held the blueprints to the original Meghan Markle while she was busy building the Duchess version. Now, we have reached Step 3, early 2026. The expiration date on Trevor's silence has been reached. Insiders suggest that a top-tier publishing house has offered a deal that does not just ask for a memoir. It asks for a correction of the record. For over a decade, Trevor watched as the history of their marriage was rewritten, minimized, and eventually deleted from the official royal narrative. In the world of Hollywood production, Trevor knows that the best stories are not the ones you make up. They are the ones people tried to bury. The Duchess's legal team, including the formidable minds at Harbottle and Lewis, who often represent the Crown, has spent the last month conducting a frantic audit of the 2013 filings. The conclusion they reached at 3 a.m. last Tuesday was devastating. They reportedly confirmed to the Montecito office that they have zero legal standing to stop Trevor Engelson from discussing any event, conversation, or document that occurred before her royal marriage in 2016. He is a legal free agent. This is the Toronto truth that keeps the Duchess awake. Trevor does not just have memories. He has the digital breadcrumbs of a woman in the middle of a radical reinvention. Why did he wait 13 years to speak? Why is the timing of this memoir deal perfectly aligned with the collapse of the Sussex business empire in 2026? The answers are hidden in a series of emails Trevor reportedly kept from the FedEx era. As the sun sets over California today, the Duchess is not just fighting a PR war with the king. She is fighting a battle against a man who saw her before the script was ever written. And according to those who have seen the preliminary table of contents for Trevor's project, the most dangerous chapter is not about her ambition. It is about a specific medical timeline that allegedly contradicts everything the world thinks it knows about the royal bloodline. The shadow is growing longer, and the ghost is about to start talking. To understand the magnitude of the crisis unfolding today, May 1st, 2026, one must look past the glossy magazine covers and examine the mechanical precision of a decade-long operation. This is not a series of unfortunate events. It is a timeline of calculation that has finally hit a wall of reality. When you map out the movements of the Duchess over the last 15 years, a pattern emerges, one that Trevor Engelson is reportedly ready to document in forensic detail. The blueprint begins in October 2011 on the beaches of Jamaica. This was the moment Meghan Markle tied her future to Trevor Engelson. To the casual observer, it was a 4-day celebration. To those analyzing the Trevor files, it was the establishment of a vital logistics hub. Trevor was a thriving producer with a deep network. He provided the financial and social scaffolding that allowed a cable actress to bypass the traditional Hollywood gatekeepers. The immediate consequence of this union was Meghan's entry into a world of power players she could never have accessed alone. But the most pivotal moment in this timeline occurred in August 2013, in the cold, clinical setting of a Toronto filming set. While Trevor remained in Los Angeles, he received a registered FedEx package. Inside was no legal explanation, only Meghan's wedding and engagement rings. This cold exit was a tactical maneuver designed to prevent any face-to-face negotiation. However, it triggered an unforeseen countermeasure: the transformation of Trevor from a supportive husband into a silent archivist. Feeling blindsided, he reportedly began preserving every email, every text, and every digital interaction from that era as a form of reputation insurance. Fast forward to July 2016 in London. The public narrative speaks of a blind date and a chance encounter at a private members club, but the 2026 investigative reports suggest a much more strategic operation. Insiders from the Toronto years have whispered about a vision board that sat in the corner of her apartment, a board that reportedly had Prince Harry at its center long before the two ever met. The consequence was the activation of a long-term plan. Harry was not just a husband. He was a global platform that could never be cancelled. However, every calculation has a margin for error. In January 2026, the Duchess attempted to launch her latest venture, as ever, from her Montecito estate. The brand was supposed to be her ultimate professional pivot, but it immediately ran into a high-stakes legal row in Europe. Civic leaders in the small Spanish town of Paredes, Mallorca, officially flagged the brand's logo as alleged plagiarism of their ancient coat of arms. The immediate consequence was a legal crisis in the European Union, freezing her trademark applications and revealing a staggering lack of due diligence in her new empire. Now we arrive at the current moment, May 1st, 2026. As King Charles conducts a high-profile state visit in Washington and New York, the isolation of the Sussexes is total. The King's refusal to acknowledge his son's presence on American soil has stripped Meghan of her final negotiation card. For years, she leveraged her connection to the British throne to maintain her status in California. But as the King meets with world leaders and cultural icons, the Duchess is being treated as a private citizen with an aspiring brand. This timeline shows that while the Duchess was busy calculating her next move, the man she left behind in 2013 was waiting for the right moment to reveal the original script. The question haunting Montecito today is not about the King's visit. It is about what happened in that 3-year gap between the FedEx package and the London date. Trevor reportedly has the timestamps, and the world is finally checking the clock. The ultimate miscalculation was not the brand or the business. It was assuming that the past stays buried when the receipts are still in the cloud. The most explosive element of the Trevor Engelson files, the one that has reportedly sent the Montecito legal team into a state of total paralysis this May morning, does not involve money or infidelity. It involves biology. For years, the darker corners of the internet have whispered about discrepancies in the official birth narratives of the Sussex children. But in 2026, those whispers have allegedly met a formidable wall of archival data. Trevor Engelson is not just an ex-husband. He is a primary witness to a medical history that Meghan Markle reportedly tried to redact from existence. To understand the weight of these biological receipts, we must look at a document that first surfaced as a rumor but has now reportedly been corroborated by high-level investigative sources: the 2011 pregnancy contract. According to those who have seen the leaked drafts from before Meghan and Trevor married in Jamaica, she allegedly insisted on a clinical agreement. This was not about love. It was about logistics. The contract allegedly stipulated that, in the event of a pregnancy, Trevor would be legally bound to pay for a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and a round-the-clock nanny to ensure Meghan's physical brand remained intact. This document provides a disturbing window into a mindset of extreme calculation. It suggests that even 15 years ago, the act of bringing life into the world was allegedly viewed by the future Duchess as a high-stakes PR operation. But the contract is only the first step on the authority staircase. The second step is far more dangerous. Investigative journalists in Toronto have reportedly spent the early months of 2026 cross-referencing archival data from premier maternity and fertility clinics in the Ontario area from 2012. Trevor Engelson allegedly holds a specific set of fertility check records from this period. Documents that were reportedly filed during a time when the couple was struggling to navigate the pressures of their bi-coastal marriage. If these records contain information regarding a specific medical procedure or a biological reality that contradicts the official timeline of her later pregnancies, the implications would be explosive. We are no longer talking about Hollywood drama. We are talking about a constitutional crisis. Under British law, any child in the line of succession must be born of the body. If Trevor's receipts provide forensic evidence of a medical history that makes the official story of Archie and Lilibet's births biologically inconsistent, the matter moves out of the hands of PR firms and into the hands of constitutional authorities. The legal mechanism is cold and unforgiving. If a contradiction is proven, officials could be pushed to conduct a forensic audit of the royal bloodline. The immediate consequence would be a challenge to the titles and standing of the entire Sussex family. This is the secret that reportedly has Meghan petrified in her Montecito office. She can dismiss a tabloid reporter, and she can ignore a disgruntled staffer, but she cannot ignore a clinical record with a 2012 timestamp. The question that remains as the sun reaches its peak on this first day of May is why Trevor Engelson kept these files for 13 years. Was it for protection? Or was it because he knew that one day the woman who sent his rings back via FedEx would try to rewrite the very nature of reality? The world is now looking at a decade-long narrative and wondering if they were watching a fairy tale or a meticulously directed biological heist. The truth is not just in the emails anymore. It is in the DNA of the records Trevor reportedly refused to burn. Every second that King Charles spends in Washington, the clock ticks louder on the files that could dismantle a dynasty. What exactly did the doctors in Toronto record in 2012? The answer may be the final word on the House of Sussex. Behind the manicured hedges and high-security gates of the Montecito estate, the image of a polished global humanitarian is dissolving into a reality of pure, high-stakes chaos. This is not a matter of tabloid speculation. It is a matter of record. As of this morning, May 1st, 2026, the internal infrastructure of the Duchess of Sussex's professional world has reportedly reached a definitive breaking point. To understand the collapse of the Sussex brand, one must look at the rate of attrition within her inner circle. The numbers are staggering. Over the last several years, 18 senior staffers, specialists in PR, logistics, and legal strategy, have walked away from the mansion. But it is the 19th departure that has sent the most violent shockwaves through the industry. On the morning of Monday, April 28, 2026, her newly appointed Director of Global Communications reportedly cleared their desk and resigned with immediate effect. The catalyst for this latest exit was an explosive confrontation regarding the as-ever lifestyle brand. The PR team had reportedly warned the Duchess for weeks about the legal vulnerabilities of the logo, citing its striking similarities to the ancient coat of arms of Pereires, a small town in Spain. According to insiders, Meghan's response was not one of professional concern, but of absolute defiance. She reportedly viewed the trademark rejection not as a branding error, but as a coordinated act of institutional sabotage orchestrated by the palace. This sabotage delusion is the core mechanism driving the internal self-destruction at Montecito. The Duchess reportedly believes that every business failure, from the overpriced jams to the trademark disputes, is a deliberate hit job directed from London. However, the reality described by those on the inside is far more clinical. They describe an environment of high-stakes terror where a single dissenting opinion is viewed as an act of betrayal. The most chilling detail to emerge from the estate involves the soundproofed gym in the North Wing. Former staffers have begun to refer to this space as the Rage Room. On the afternoon the news broke regarding Trevor Engelson's alleged $20 million memoir deal. Witnesses claimed the atmosphere inside the house became unbearable. While the exterior of the mansion remained a picture of California serenity, the soundproofed walls of the gym were reportedly tested to their limit. Staffers recounted hearing muffled guttural screams echoing through the corridors as the Duchess processed the reality of her ex-husband's return to the narrative. In that moment, the woman who had meticulously directed her own rise to fame realized she had lost control of the lead actor in her past life. One former aide, speaking on the condition of total anonymity, stated that the most terrifying thing was not the anger. It was the total lack of a plan. The master of PR was suddenly a victim of the very news cycle she once thought she owned. The mechanism of this collapse is a closed loop. The more the Duchess tries to control the narrative, the more the narrative fractures. By blaming external enemies for her business roadblocks, she has created a blind spot that is now being exploited by the Trevor files. She is fighting a ghost war with King Charles in Washington, while the real threat is already inside the perimeter, documented in the emails and records Trevor refused to delete in 2013. As the world watches the King's state visit today, the As Ever brand sits in a state of legal limbo, and the Montecito office is a skeleton crew of traumatized survivors. The director has lost her cast. Her script is being rewritten by an ex-husband, and the soundproofed walls are no longer enough to hide the cracks. The question is not whether the brand will fail. It is whether there will be anyone left to turn out the lights. The receipts are coming, and the rage room is silent for the first time in weeks. The quiet is far more ominous than the screams. As the final hours of May 1, 2026, draw to a close, the question hanging over the global media landscape is no longer if the Sussex narrative will collapse, but how. We are looking at a scenario tree where every branch leads back to a single point of failure. The truth held by Trevor Engelson. Based on the intelligence gathered from the Montecito inner circle and the legal maneuvers in London, 3 distinct futures are now unfolding for the Duchess. The first and most explosive is the nuclear scenario. If Trevor Engelson moves forward with his memoir in September 2026, the fallout will be institutional. Should his alleged biological receipts and Toronto files provide evidence of a decade-long deception regarding her medical history and the circumstances of her entry into the royal family, the palace would be forced into a defensive crouch. To protect the integrity of the line of succession, the king would have no choice but to initiate the formal process of stripping the Duchess title. In this version of reality, Meghan Markle becomes a B-list cautionary tale, a former royal relegated to the fringes of reality television, stripped of the very status she spent millions to acquire. The second path is the legal quagmire. In this scenario, Meghan uses the last of her dwindling resources to launch a massive litigation campaign against Trevor and his publishers. But as any legal expert will tell you, a trial requires discovery. A lawsuit would force every private email, every deleted text, and every non-disclosure agreement from the last 13 years into the public record. She would be attempting to burn the house down to hide the fire, exposing her most intimate calculations in an open courtroom. The As Ever brand would be buried under the weight of legal fees, and the Duchess would be remembered not for her lifestyle empire, but for a public cross-examination she cannot win. Finally, we look at the most realistic scenario: the Great Disappearance. As the As Ever brand continues to face trademark rejections and plagiarism rows in Europe, the financial pressure becomes unsustainable. Insiders are already whispering that Prince Harry is looking for an exit strategy, a return to London to reclaim his military roots and his family's protection, even if it means doing so alone. Meghan would be left in the Montecito mansion, keeping the keys to a 16-bedroom fortress but losing her grip on global influence. She would live in the ultimate Hollywood nightmare: the silence of a phone that no longer rings and a world that has simply moved on to the next story. But as we sit here on the night of May 1st, there is one piece of evidence that renders all of her PR defenses useless. Meghan Markle famously told the world she did not know much about the British royal family before she met Harry. She portrayed herself as the naive American outsider, but Trevor Engelson reportedly holds the ultimate narrative killer. It is a photograph from the early 1990s of 15-year-old Meghan Markle standing directly in front of the gates of Buckingham Palace. Those who have seen the image say it is not just a tourist photo. It is the look in her eyes, the focused, unwavering gaze of a teenager who had already pinned a target to the center of her vision. The vision board did not start in Toronto in 2012. It started 3 decades ago. The blind date was the final act of a play that had been in rehearsal since childhood. Tonight in Montecito, the lights remain on, but she is not drafting a new business plan. She is watching the shadows of the Toronto years grow longer. The final secret is not in a London palace or a California mansion. It is in a digital folder Trevor Engelson has guarded since 2013. And we have just obtained the access code to that timeline. This story is evolving by the minute. If you want to see the forensic breakdown of that 2012 fertility record and the emails that allegedly contradict the royal birth narrative, you must stay connected. Click the subscribe button and turn on all notifications right now. This is a developing investigation, and the most protected files are about to be opened. Like this video to demand the full transparency the public deserves. What do you think Trevor's ultimate goal is? Drop your theory in the comments. The truth behind the spotlight is finally coming home. We will see you in the next update. The clock is ticking.